Hi, how are you? I hope fine as usual. And I'm happy to see you here because if you're watching, it means that you're interested in British literature. So I'm going straight to the point because today I'm talking about this man here whose name is Wilfred Owen, and he is one of the most important war poets. To do that, it's necessary to say something using PowerPoint presentation about the historical background, which was the one of the First World War. So I'm going to open and share the screen to show you these slides to show what exactly the First World War was. Okay, I think you can see it. Well, of course, I thank the sites www.schoolhistory.co.uk for the materials. And what you can see is an image and a sentence that says over the top. Well, this expression was made exactly during the First World War to see that to say that you are greater than something, you know. To be over the top, it means to be great. But we're going to see that it wasn't exactly like this. Well, in general, we should say something about how the war broke out. In June the 28th, 1914, Archduke Francis Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary, AH, to shorten it, was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. July the 5th, 1914, Germany issues Austria-Hungary blank check. That is a kind of military assistance if Austria-Hungary goes to war against Russia. In July the 23rd, 1914, Austria issues Serbia an ultimatum and then bombed Belgrade, the capital of Serbia. All these led to triggered reactions where Germany declares war on Russia, and then France and Germany invaded Belgium, that was neutral, to attack France. At this point, Britain, because of Germany's violation of Belgium, declared war on Germany because Britain had been involved in Belgium in constituency. So that's why it sent a force of 130,000 soldiers across the Channel to fight in northern France on the Western Front. Then, a year later, in 1915, also US and Italy started to fight on Russia, France, and Britain's side, the so-called Allies. But this was a poster that was spread in Britain to encourage men to enlist. So as you can see, this poster is about a kind of positive or, you know, also smiling picture. You can see some soldiers that are laughing. And so all the posters of this period said the war would be safe. There was hardly any fighting, and it would finish by Christmas. So they used advertising posters to encourage this idea. So over the top is literally to be, you know, at the top of something, in this case, a trench. But on the back side, this was the reality of being over the top. And it was very different. You know, I don't want to make it ridiculous, but you know, these memes that we see nowadays in social media about expectations and reality, this was the case. Um, Soldiers were expected to carry all of their equipment with them at all times, and they were supposed to keep it clean and in good conditions because they were British after all. So it was a kind of course, patriotism in all the words spread for the enlisting. So to give you an idea about what soldiers were told, what men were told to become officers. This is a picture that shows how the uniform changed after just 3 weeks in the trenches. Um, in the first one, we see a British officer that has no weapon. It's just a stick. It's very elegant, you know, it's like someone is striking a pose, and like if it were something, you know, glorious and also trendy. After the second week, something could change, and actually it changed. You see, in the face, it's darker because of the bombing and because of the dust and you know, the trenches, the life in the trenches, and a little less smiling. In the third picture, you see the situation as it actually was. This time, the soldier has a weapon, and his uniform is totally rags. These are some other examples of posters. So the first, it's like, you know, very easy to understand calling, because it says, join your country's army, God save the king, which is always a good idea, you know, to mention the patriotism to the king. In this case, it was George V. There is room for you, enlist today. You see, there are some soldiers getting on a train and waving their hands like it was a school trip or something to be enjoyed. The third points out the situation of the women. Of course, the women stayed at home and started doing men's job. But this poster here says, women of Britain say go. So it was a kind of, again, an encouraging men to fight, because in this way their women could be proud of them. But of course it wasn't true. So be ready, join now was the calling. Posters always showed men ready and willing to fight. They, of course, never showed the boredom of the trenches or actual fighting take place. No man, of course, could have any idea of what the war would be. So why do you think the government showed no fighting? Well, I leave you the answer. This was the situation. So these pictures are very famous because these are the real pictures of the war. You can see some of them, some soldiers are still smiling. And this is not weird because even if most of them have no smiling, relaxed faces, there were ones that suffered the so-called shell shock that provoke them a kind of dumbness because they inhalated this toxic substance, and this provoked him a kind of silliness, dumbness. So they laugh for this reason, not because they were happy, of course. And this attitude was the one that led the constitution of this expression in Italy as, scemo di guerra, was because of this. So the uniforms weren't clean and the equipment was scattered everywhere. So let's go back to our hero here, that I mentioned about during the last video lesson. Wilfred Owen was born in 1893, and he was an English teacher. So he was when the First World War broke out. He was teaching English in France, but after visiting a hospital with many injured soldiers, he decided to go back to his home country and to fight for it. But let's see how he described the life he lived while he was in the trenches. So we need to go to another account, that is the Zanichelli one. Okay. Yeah. I need to share the screen with the poem that you find in your book. So you should you should need your book to understand. Okay. So the title, before starting, I would say something very briefly about this poem. Its name is Dulce et decorum est, which is a Latin title that means sweet. It is sweet and honorable to. Well, I won't anticipate the end of the poem. So it is sweet and honorable. It's a quotation from the Latin poet Horace, who has borrowed the line from the Greek poet Tyrtaeus. And it is divided into 3 stanzas. It's the manifesto against the war and against the ones who claims it was glorious to fight for the war, and it shows the blind ignorance against the patriotism when it leads to fighting with other people and killing them. So briefly, it is organized in 3 stanzas, and each stanza describes a particular situation. But let's listen, and then I'm going to explain the lines and the translation into Italian.
Wilfred Owen, Dulce et decorum est. Bent double, like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, bloodshod. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of tired, outstripped 5-9s that dropped behind.
Okay, so in this first stanza, it is described the physical suffering. Bent double like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge. Okay, we have a series of adjectives made by past participle, like bent double, that in Italian goes like this: piegati in due, like old beggars under sacks, this is a simile. And in Italian it goes like this: come vecchie streghe, come vecchi mendicanti sotto il peso degli zaini, sacks, dei sacchi. Knock kneed, con le ginocchia vicine. Coughing like hags, tossendo come streghe. We, and now there is the subject. Noi cursed through sludge, imprecavamo attraverso il fango, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, finché quindi nei bagliori spaventosi, of course they were the hunting flares of the bombing and the gas that was used during the war. We turned our backs, demmo le spalle, ci girammo, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. E verso i nostri distanti, rest qui sta per rifugio, quindi trincea, cominciammo a trascinarci. Began to trudge. Here the subject is plural. You can see in the pronoun we, then men, and then, well, I think that's it. Again, we turned our backs, we cursed. So the subject is plural because it's a universal condition. So it's what the poet is watching around him. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on bloodshot. That's the Italian translation. Gli uomini marciavano addormentati because of the effect of the gas. Molti avevano perso i loro stivali, their boots, but limped on, bloodshot. Ma limp è un verbo che in genere si usa per gli ubriachi, quindi barcollavano avanti, cioè continuavano a barcollare, bloodshot, letteralmente calzati di sangue o calzando sangue. Chiaramente l'immagine è molto cruda perché ci fa capire con questo sostantivo e participio passato, quindi blood, sangue, shod, calzati, che quasi il sangue, poiché erano rimasti senza stivali, rivestiva completamente i loro piedi, perché erano costretti a camminare a piedi nudi. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of tired outstripped 5-9s that dropped behind. And this is the conditions. Quindi tutti diventarono sordi, tutti ciechi, ubriachi di fatica, sordi perfino ai sibili, ai rumori sibilanti delle 5-9s. Era il nome delle granate che venivano utilizzate durante la prima guerra mondiale, quindi delle bombe, delle granate che dropped behind, che venivano lanciate e che ci lasciavamo indietro. Chiaramente sta descrivendo l'immagine di un gruppo di soldati che scappano dal bombardamento e quindi si lasciano alle spalle queste granate che marciano semi-addormentati a causa dell'effetto tossico dei gas e che a causa dei rumori diventano anche sordi, perdono gli stivali, quindi una condizione proprio di sofferenza. Second stanza.
Gas, gas, quick boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Through the misty panes and thick green light as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning.
Okay, so I'll give you the translation first. So in Italian it goes like this. Gas, gas, veloci ragazzi, una estasi di frenesia, cioè un brancolare frenetico. Chiaramente there's nothing that could be compared to an ecstasy, because ecstasy normally is a positive sensation. Quindi fitting the clumsy helmets just in time, quindi si misero mettendosi gli elmetti appena in tempo. But someone, e qui c'è il cambiamento del soggetto da universale noi della prima stanza, c'è un singolo, a single one, someone, qualcuno ancora stava urlando e stumbling, inciampava e si dimenava, floundering, like a man in fire or lime, come un uomo nella calce e nel fuoco. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, quindi tenue attraverso i vetri appannati di cosa? Delle maschere chiaramente antigas, e attraverso la spessa luce verde, sempre del gas. Vedete qui come diventa, è proprio lirico, trasfigura l'orrore di ciò che sta vedendo in qualcosa di poetico e utilizza questa similitudine, quella del mare, che è una immagine bella, perché è orribile descrivere quello che vede davvero, quindi usa questa similitudine, quindi come un mare verde, I saw him drowning, lo vidi annegare, and in all my dreams before my helpless sight, in tutti i miei sogni davanti alla mia vista, helpless perché vuol dire indifesa, senza aiuto. He plunges at me, lui si tuffa verso di me, guttering, choking, drowning. Guttering vuol dire colando giù, soffocando, annegando. Quindi importante dire che in the second stanza we have a gas attack, okay? It's the moment when there's a gas attack, and this quick boys is probably said by someone next to the poet, but it's not easy to understand where this voice comes from. And in the last three lines, when Owen gets very lyrical, it's the description that goes from a real world to a kind of hallucination. Avete presente quei film di guerra dove si vede dalla vista del soldato un orizzonte molto, molto tenue, molto in dissolvenza, con questi colori della terra, quindi questo sabbia, verdastro, ed è esattamente quello che sta descrivendo qui, ma parla anche dello shell shock, perché dice in all my dreams, perché lui quando poi fu ferito, fu ricoverato in ospedale e quindi continua a fare questi sogni di quello che aveva visto di terribile. In questo consisteva questo problema psicologico, quindi non era solo fisico, ma anche psicologico. E quindi il poeta continua a ricordarlo dicendo: lo vedo che si tuffa verso di me, quindi continua a usare questa parola tuffarsi legata e annegare, legata alla similitudine precedente che ha usato, no? Ha detto come sotto un mare verde lo vidi annegare e nei miei sogni vedo che si tuffa verso di me, quindi probabilmente il poeta ha questo ricordo del suo compagno che tende le mani come a farsi aiutare, probabilmente. Let's hear the third stanza.
If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his hanging face, like a devil's sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues, my friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie. Dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori.
Okay. So I stop the sharing because I want you to follow about from your book. Last stanza. It starts with two rhetorical questions. If in some, I'm reading of course, if in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in Italian it goes like this. Se in qualche affannoso smothering sogno, anche tu, you too, the poet is addressing to us, potessi metterti al passo, pace, behind the wagon, dietro il vagone, that we flung him in, sul quale noi lo gettammo. Avete un'immagine di questo tipo, no? Una camionetta piena di soldati vivi e morti. E lui, quindi Owen continua dicendo, if in some smothering dreams, quindi se in questi sogni affannati tu potessi metterti al passo dietro la camionetta su cui noi lo gettammo, and watch the white eyes right in his face, e vedere gli occhi bianchi contorcersi nella sua faccia. Chiaramente gli occhi bianchi it's because when you die, your eye could go reverse, so that's why he sees the white. His hanging face like a devil sick of sin. Chiaramente queste azioni sono sempre dipendenti da se tu potessi. Quindi guardare gli occhi bianchi che si contorcevano sulla sua faccia. La sua faccia, hanging vuol dire penzoloni, penzolante. Quindi immaginate che in qualche modo il corpo morto di questo soldato aveva la faccia che usciva fuori e penzolava. Like devil's sick of sin, similitudine, quindi come un diavolo sazio di peccato. Fine della prima parte di domanda retorica. Seconda domanda retorica. If, line 21, if you could hear at every jolt the blood come gurgling from the froth-corrupted lungs, and in Italian it goes like this. Se tu potessi ascoltare at every jolt, ad ogni sobbalzo, e qui arrivano una serie di immagini che di poetico non hanno nulla e sono molto crude, anche stomachevoli. Quindi se tu potessi sentire a ogni sobbalzo della camionetta il sangue, come gargling, è proprio un'onomatopeica, uscire gorgogliando from the froth corrupted lungs, dai suoi polmoni intaccati, corrotti dal gas. Obscene as cancer, bitter as the cut, osceno come il cancro, amaro come il vomito. No poetry here. Of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues. Quindi di vili, incurabili mali o piaghe su lingue innocenti, because there were children that were sent to fight in the war. Quindi, if you could, riprendiamo l'inizio della stanza, if you could pace behind the wagon and see his white eyes, and if you could hear the blood come gargling out of his lungs, se tu potessi vederlo con la faccia a penzoloni, se tu potessi sentire il suo sangue uscire fuori gorgogliando dai polmoni. Line 21, verso 25. My friend. E qui si può rivolgere o al lettore, amico mio, lo chiamo amico mio, quindi a noi che stiamo leggendo, o a Siegfried Sassoon, che è un altro dei poeti di guerra, molto amico di Owen, che lo aveva anche incoraggiato a pubblicare le poesie che aveva scritto nel periodo in cui si trovava in ospedale per curarsi dalle ferite di guerra. Quindi se tu potessi fare questo, se tu potessi fare quell'altro, amico mio, you would not tell with such high zest, non diresti con un tale entusiasmo to children ardent for some desperate glory, a bambini ardenti per qualche gloria disperata. Cosa? The old lie, la vecchia bugia, that dulce et decorum est pro patria mori, che è dolce e decoroso morire per la patria. That's the end of the poem. That's what Wilfred Owen told us. And this last stanza is totally realistic, and it speaks about the death from the chemical warfare. Ironically, Owen died in 1918, November, just 7 days before the armistice was signed. So he was only 25, not so much older than you, and he couldn't see peace in his life. Okay, I hope that you have enjoyed this explanation and that you can feel what the poet wanted to tell us. Vi saluto, vi auguro una buona giornata e ci vediamo prossimamente. Ciao!